Now, where should this defensive midfielder move for optimal positioning movement? Most players, when asked this question, will try and think, where is the best position for the defensive midfielder to get on the ball? And that's the problem. That's the thing stopping you elevate your positioning. Good positioning, especially from a defensive midfielder most of the time, is to help somebody else get on the ball. In this video, we're going to break down just that. I'm going to show you clips from the same game, Bayern Leverkusen versus Dortmund, last year, which finished 1-1. After this video, you'll think about positioning in two different ways. Where should I move to get on the ball? And where should I move to help someone else get on the ball? To make it even simpler, all of the clips from this section will be a pass from the centre-back. Now, as the ball is being played back to the centre-back from the fullback, this is a picture. If the defensive midfielder moves to his right, he's on the same passing lane as the advanced midfielder, which is useless. If he stays where he is, he has heavy pressure. But if he runs to the left, which he does, he's vacating the space and bringing his marker with him. So the advanced midfielder can now receive the ball. And it doesn't stop there. Now, when the advanced midfielder does get on the ball, the same defensive midfielder is now stood here, holding his position with the man tight to him. And this is keeping open this passing lane for the fullback to be played into. And now Dortmund end up in the final third. Now Leverkusen on the ball. Leverkusen playing a 5 at the back. And Xhaka here as the centre defensive midfielder. Now, as the centre-back advances, we see the opposition midfielder running across to block the pass to Xhaka. This is completely fine because the striker who has dropped deep is now open and Xhaka receives it on the third man pass. Just because you're not available for the initial pass doesn't mean you're not part of the play. Xhaka being here opened up the pass to the striker who dropped in, and now he can spin off and get the ball back off the striker. A very similar clip again, but with the other defensive midfielder. Dortmund in a mid-block, letting the centre-backs have the ball. Now, we see this bounce pass from the defensive midfielder back to the centre-back. What's the point in this? As the pass comes in, we see he's bringing his marker closer to him, now creating more room here. When the centre-back gets the bounce pass, the defensive midfielder is now on the blind side of the Dortmund midfielder, who is trying to glance to see where he has gone. All the while, this pass is now on. And just like Xhaka, he receives it on the third man pass. Leverkusen again. As the fullback passes back to the centre-back, let's pause. We see two defensive midfielders online with each other. Let's focus on the right-sided one. Let's imagine if he now dropped between both opposition forwards here. He would bring his marker with him and the pass to the other defensive midfielder wouldn't be on. So instead he holds his ground, potentially could be found by the centre-back, but it's such a tight pass. His position, staying still here, keeps the marker to his left, tight to him, so now the pass is on to Xhaka. Now they switch the play and begin an attack. Another Leverkusen clip. The centre-back on the ball and Xhaka stood here, keeping two players on him, and we can see how much he's thinking ahead. He stood still, relaxed, glancing up the pitch because he sees the space he's created for this man to now drop in. And you guessed it. He gets the third man pass and they switch the play and begin an attack. The centre-back on the ball and both defensive midfielders close to each other, with Xhaka slightly deeper. Xhaka pulling off. This way brings both players slightly over this side. Now the other defensive midfielder runs off the blind side to get the ball and can now turn. If both the defensive midfielders are on the same page like this and understand to sacrifice yourself getting the ball for someone else to get it, this is when teams are deadly. Dortmund playing out from the back. The keeper passes to the defensive midfielder who finds a centre-back. Now, paused. This defensive midfielder, where should he move? Both options could work. If he moves infield, he could drag his marker this way, and now this passing lane may be open for the advanced midfielder to get. But he goes out wide. Look at his body language, clearly not asking for the ball. He knows what he's doing. Now the passing lane to this huge pocket of space is open. Let's finish this section with this clip. we see both of the defensive midfielders are on the same line, which now makes it much harder for the centre-back on the ball. Although they still get out, let's rewind and see what movements could have happened. If the right defensive midfielder now ran wide, this may have brought his marker with him and opened up the pass for the fullback, who has made the forward run inside. But also note, the defensive midfielder running here has dragged his man in field, which could now potentially open up a pass to the wide left winger to do a vertical drop to receive the feet. This is a good exercise you can do when watching games. Imagine how the pictures would have changed if the player moved somewhere else. In this game alone, I got countless clips. Scouts, coaches, parents, or even players who watch youngsters play football, you'll notice the game is nothing like how when pros play it. This is because all players on the pitch need to understand these fundamentals to play great football. Even if 2 out of the 3 defensive midfielders understand it, but one of them doesn't, their movement alone will disrupt it all so bad. As you see, adding this level of intelligence to your game requires you to think on 2 different dimensions: how to get on the ball and how to help someone else get on the ball. Also, thinking and playing this way will make the game so much more fun. It just becomes more mentally stimulating. There's nothing worse than being in a game where it's just long ball, plays breaking down every single time and just nothing happening. I believe a lot of players fall out of love with the game, partly due to poor team coaching. Like I said, if one player doesn't understand it, it can mess up the whole thing. And that's not to add pressure, it's actually very simple when you get the hang of it, as you can see. We're building out a defensive midfielder positioning course at the moment, and this has been a huge pattern that we keep seeing whilst we're putting it together, so I had to share it. I really think this is one of the main things holding players back. So we covered when the centre-back has the ball. Now I want to show you 2 clips where the fullback has the ball. Although this is a wing-back who then plays back to the right centre-back, this also mimics a winger and a fullback. Now as a right-back gets the ball, we see Xhaka dropping back to be an option. This now makes the midfielders follow just enough to leave this pass on instead. Then with this amazing first time through ball. Now, back to the start, imagine if Xhaka went central online with the opposition midfielder. This pass would be much harder to do, as the opposition midfielder wouldn't have run out like this. Lastly, Leverkusen on the ball again. The defensive midfielders link with a simple bounce pass, and then it goes wide. Now, look at the defensive midfielder. He drops deep and isn't even a passing option, but his marker to the left now stays where he is just in case, now leaving this pass on to the advanced midfielder. Again, let's rewind. Imagine if the defensive midfielder ran into this space. He would have closed it all off and no pass would be on, as he would have brought his marker with him. So this is just an introduction lesson on how to think about movement for midfielders. But of course, this also applies to all positions. If this video really helps, drop a like and send it to someone that you think it will benefit. This knowledge is criminally undertaught. Imagine a world of football where this is just basic knowledge, and all players, even young ones, know to look out for it. The game would be miles more fun to play and watch. Thank you for watching. Try and watch a game of your own and spot these patterns. That will massively help you improve your movement IQ. But most of all, keep chasing your potential.